Hey, how you doing? Sorry it took me a while to get back to you, and thank you for providing me with the civilized debate. Now, about the definition of strong. Strong doesn't simply mean physically strong. I'm not extremely physically strong. I'm mentally strong when it comes to cognitive skills, but I refuse to have kids with any girl who has emotional problems because I got a few emotional problems. And I've actually had a girlfriend almost leave me because of that. I said, sorry, but I care about our future children enough not to have them, you know? And this is what I meant by passive eugenics. Two people who have the same major problem should refuse to have kids with each other. And I also think nice people should evolve to have more kids. I believe it is this government sponsored media which makes up this badass image for women to follow, such as in rap songs or in movies about criminals with big muscles who act real smooth. Look at any serial killer. People who kill people are not smooth people. So the whole badass thing, it's just an illusion, really. And, there is no undesirable majority, however, that I speak of. This is not an elitist belief, it's just caring about your future children. And I believe you presented this argument because I did not word myself that well in my initial argument. I should have worded myself better. But the majority agreeing to this is just a matter of spreading the word peacefully. Just like hippies spread the word itself with no help from the law and very little help from corporations. It's a matter of, hey man, this makes a whole lot of sense. Don't this make a whole lot of sense? Hey, alright, well, let's go along with it. And so naturally, when everybody realizes how much sense this makes, they want to be a part of this new anarchistic society that gets along by everyone following the rules that make a great society like this work out consensually. The entire world will just be a huge organization. And most people do want to be productive members of society, and so they will. It will be a small minority not following these rules. But of course, passive eugenics is just that passive. If you don't like it, fine then. Have kids with someone who's got the same disorder as you, and raise an entire family that only makes it to the age of 25 and has to suffer immense pain for the entirety of their lives because of someone's, you know, caveman urge to fuck. But because of the fact that no one is using force to enforce these rules, there will be no reason to revolt. You'll just, it'll basically just be like a textbook for people who care about society. This will be one of the rules in it. Passive eugenics. If you and your girlfriend or your boyfriend have the same major disorder, don't have kids. We're not going to force you not to, but we're just going to make you think about it by handing you a little pamphlet. That's all it is. And because violent revolutions only ever occur against laws that enforce themselves violently. This will not be enforced by the policeman's billy club. This will just be a pamphlet. That's all it is, a pamphlet. Don't like it, tear it up, throw it out. Who cares? And, when I say sick, I only mean those whose entire lives are ruined by a physical or mental deformity because they simply can't perform the everyday functions of ordinary life. That is the definition. If you and your partner can't even get out of bed ever, or if you and your partner inherited the disorder from both of your parents, that make it impossible for either of you to do anything, meaning can't get a job, can't socialize at all, then the two of you should adopt if you want children. I'm not going to tell people who are a little bit chubby to not have kids. If they're over 400 pounds, both of them, and it affects every fiber of their being with extreme sickness, those children won't be able to do a lot of the things most of the other kids are doing. So, I would kindly give them I wouldn't call them out on it. I would give everyone a pamphlet saying that people like that shouldn't have kids with each other, you know? And I'm not going to call them out individually either. They'll know that I'm talking about them, but it won't be rude. It won't even be rude at all. Excuse me there real quick. And I'm not saying they're inferior because of that either. And I'm not saying we should smother them in pity and treat them like a sad puppy either. No, we should respect people who have these problems and realize that they are just as worthy as so-called strong people are. They're strong in some way too. However, their condition isn't a good thing and shouldn't be passed on because that would be downright cruel. So we kindly educate people not to mate with those having the same condition as them. We don't force them to do anything. And this is a tiny minority of people who are actually sick enough that they cannot perform the functions of everyday life. If they have a heart and soul, which most people do, this education will get them to think, yeah, we shouldn't have kids with each other then, knowing how sick our kids will be. And it's that simple. There are plenty of tribes of ancient cultures where violence is so rare that it is nearly non existent. These ancient cultures aren't any different than us. And there's a few things that they always agree on without a law to enforcing it. They just, and for different cultures, it's different things. But, there's always some things that they all agree to do because they agree it makes society run better and it works out for them. And it's just that they've been given the right information. They were taught to act that way by a single source. I can be that single source, and so can you or anyone else. And once you start working from true empathy, you do not want to bring deformed children into this world just so that you can have your selfish legacy. You, once you spiritually awaken, you realize that we are all part of one conscious. You advance your legacy by spending time on this earth, not by having kids. And the knowledge of this true fact goes against the primitive and indeed selfish caveman urge to fuck. Your children won't keep on your legacy for you. Society will. I love sick people. I love healthy people. I love everybody. That's what my beliefs are about. But this is how I feel, and thank you for challenging my beliefs. And you might disagree or agree. I don't think you might agree or disagree on anything, but I don't think in my initial argument I really explained myself fully. But that's all. So have fun, everyone.